Everybody ready to pay attention? I'm not sure I am. But, anyway, welcome to the inaugural user conference for ICIS. This is a big deal for us, and I would really like to welcome everyone warmly. Our 10th anniversary, and we've never really bitten off this kind of an event before, but it seemed appropriate, and it's very, very timely that MISA was on this week, and we were able to leverage that. So we really thank MISA to allow us to work with them and share the facility and kind of not piggyback off the event, but certainly take advantage of a lot of the travel and effort that people are making to get to sunny Sydney. So that's great. And before we really get started here, I'd just like to introduce Harry Mercer, president of ICIS, to say a few words. Harry?
Everybody hear me there? I just want to again thank Harry and his team for putting this together and welcome you to this event. It is the 10th year, 10th anniversary of ICIS, so it's kind of nice to see this come together as part of the 10th anniversary. I think this is a great opportunity today not only to hear about ICIS, but also to hear from you folks in terms of what you think and how are things going. What does the future look like? One little analogy might be that if you look at what we're trying to do with ICIS, is get all of this grounded and grounded on base map, base information, and the opportunity really is to then build on that base into what I call a geospatial vision for the future, and the tentacles of that go in many directions from a broad economic point of view and a broad social point of view, and I think ICIS plays a key role in all of that. So I'm looking forward to the afternoon. Encourage you to participate and get some interaction going, and it should be an exciting time. So, Harry's going to participate all of that.
Thanks, Harry. As we said, we've got a lot through, kind of a compact zipped file, if you will, afternoon. Lots to talk about, and we're actually videotaping all the proceedings so we can create a YouTube library after for posterity's sake. And it's a good thing I realized that because I just went to the washroom and saw a great big piece of spinach stuck in my tooth. So I hope it's gone. Otherwise it'll look pretty ugly, but oh well. So let's just see, I'm playing with my new mouse here. One thing I'm really proud of is that every member segment is represented here today, and that's a pretty great accomplishment, not only for us within ICIS, but more importantly for you as ICIS members to regard this event as worth coming to. So hopefully at the end of the day you'll find it worthwhile, and we'll all have learned something. So the whole idea is, even though you're sitting in a chair, you're not here to be entertained, you're here to participate. So that's, although I do think of myself as a relatively good entertainer. So let's just look at some of the stats, which are so exciting. In 10 years, we've accumulated 244 agreements, and as of 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, we only had about 60. So in the last 4 years, we've really gone exponentially with our membership, really representing virtually all the local governments and regional districts in the province. The associate member group has really, we've seen a lot of growth from the private sector and from some federal ministries, federal agencies, as well as the survey companies, which is really exciting, as well as some of the other authorities like Health Authority and Harbor Authorities, and of course the RCMP and the Department of Defense. So some great, I don't want to say too much here because I'm going to steal everything away from Ken, who's going to give you a more detailed outlook. One of our newer initiatives was with First Nations, which we started about 2 years ago, and that has really gotten some legs now, and we're really excited about working with all the First Nations, and it's, I think, really beneficial to welcome the community of First Nations into the ICIS family. And then we started a new group called Affiliates, and that's really just to leverage off other groups like us who are endeavoring to bring together their members, like LGMA, like MISA, like the First Nations Technical Council, LGMA, to really see how we can leverage each other's relationships with their collective groups. So from that point of view, that's just a benefit where we can co-market things as well. So with respect to the agenda today, we want to go through quite a few, kind of broken into two segments. First of all, we're going to talk about where we are today with ICIS and how that's benefiting members, where you see the benefits coming from and learning from each other what those mean to your respective organizations. And then we're going to hear from the Honorable Stephanie Cadu. We're really excited about her joining us today and speaking about the future of Open and the whole initiative that her ministry, of which some of you are in attendance today, we're going to hear some more detail from her on, which will lead right to our distinguished panel, and I use that word loosely, Harry, of panel members to talk about the future of collaboration and where ICIS might want to go. And I think that will give everybody a chance to hear a viewpoint and then really interact with questions. And that's really, I think, how we're going to take away some value here, is understanding where ICIS goes from where we are today to the future in the next 5 years or so. And then, of course, I'll wrap it up with all my words of wisdom that I haven't quite gotten a hold of yet. And then we're going to have door prizes. And make sure before you go for the break that you drop your business card, or if you don't have one, borrow one from somebody, write your names on it, because we got a pretty good selection of door prizes here that some have been donated by our funding members, and some I went to the piggy bank and we bought some stuff. So it's a pretty, we'll keep that a little bit of a surprise, but I do see a box with iPad 2 written on it, so I don't, it might just be an empty box, but I don't know for sure. So, we're going, I'm already ahead of myself, we've already done the kickoff, and what I wanted to bring you up to date on is how we arrived at this point with our strategy. And that, I think, was really a bit of a breakthrough, a bit of an epiphany for ICIS when we decided to have our strategic session a year ago in April. From that, we had a working group comprised of the board members and some respective representatives from other organizations in the group, and we really had a facilitated session that allowed us to get our arms around really what is ICIS all about. So from that, we came up with some strategic directives, 5 in total, that were really distilled from a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun, and like everything ICIS does, very collaborative. So we really came down from about 43 different points that consolidated into these initiatives. So we talked about establishing data quality and completeness as opposed to just accumulating data. We wanted to give meaning to that data, which really led to some very specific initiatives within the projects. We wanted to make sure that we were actually checking in with the members and engaging with them, so that not only did we think we know what we were doing, we wanted to ensure that what we were doing was actually meeting the requirements of the members. We wanted to validate our vision, and the vision stands strong. You saw it on the beginning slide about supporting the economic development and future of British Columbia through spatial data, and making sure that what we did actually supported that vision. Wasn't the right vision, and in fact it seems it is. We want to make sure that we could actually exist and had a reason to exist. If we have no reason to exist, well then why would anybody want to fund us? So we wanted to ensure that that sustainability puzzle or equation was answered. And then, of course, we want to make sure we do a lot better job of communicating and interacting so that people actually understand what we're doing and that we actually are listening. So a lot of work on these strategic directives, which really took us to ensuring that our projects met those directives. So with that, we really came down to 2, now 3 initiatives. And as you can see, if they didn't support all those 5 strategic directives, then they didn't have a right to exist. So the fact that they do, we focused on the cadastre, which was our original mandate. You all know about our point-based address system, which became number 2. But another kind of a moment that we realized where we were adding a lot of value was in the ability to aggregate data and providing and building tools. And that came very recently in an operations session where we were trying to figure out what can we specifically nail down as a reason or a value for local governments to participate. And part of it was we took away the effort. And we wanted to make sure that we were ensuring regular delivery, accuracy, and regularity and trust based on that data. So that really, we kind of anointed it GeoShare BC, but it really is the tool set that we're delivering to facilitate the automation of data delivery in a regular and timely and a somewhat quality controlled fashion to bring it into the ICIS data sets. So then, of course, everything that we do internally, our initiatives, support those three strategic projects, whether it's member marketing and support, conferences and workshops, bring to market plan, which we've really just introduced and formalized internally, where Anne now has the responsibility of managing our entire, what we now call BC Spatial product set in a whole entire range from its entire bring to market cycle, from the strategy, the business requirements, to the design, the development, testing, to production, to documentation, to training, to marketing. So all of that is being not only planned as a project, but also joined to our financial budget so that we can absolutely justify what we do and how we can show where the money's being spent and why. So then we, of course, have spent a lot of work. Mike's done an awful lot of work in the last couple of years building our infrastructure. We had I would call a half-baked infrastructure before. Now we actually are creating a robust, tight, secure environment that we actually own our own hardware, but it's been properly facilitated in a hosting facility. We've got all our license agreements are up to snuff. We've got the proper security and firewall, and we actually have an IT support contract with Myra, which really, I said, raises the bar immensely on our ability to support the members. And then, of course, our sort of non-technical program, the Civic Spatial Grant Program, where we have been given funds by our funding members to help local governments and First Nations meet some of the requirements that ICIS is asking for. So that's a really strong program. It's well executed, it's being well responded to, and it's a really good catalyst for ensuring that we're getting our job done. So you're going to hear a little bit more detail on some of these areas, and I think you'll find some of the progress we've made pretty exciting. So with that, I'm going to look to the team to help you understand. We're also pretty good artists too in representing how we look. That was Steve's idea and his toys that he brought to the office. So, I think we'll like to start off with Ken, just giving a slight or an overview on where we are with our membership. Ken?